very decisive. Yasuo now being banned away. No more Gragas Yasuo going to be on the table. Jace is alive for Keen. Does he want it?
That's really scary. All right. What does Rascal do to try and get through this? The Rise is available. That's most likely going into Pawn's hands. He's been playing very, very well on the Jace, and Tucson is going to lock down the Braum.
Now, that could be Aftershock Rise. That could be used to try to combat the Jace. Now, Lissandra has made it... Oh, no, she's banned.
No, she's banned. She was banned first.
All right,
yeah, you're just insane.
Yeah.
Losing.
No, losing my mind.
Like she's going to get through.
All right.
You're a weirdo. Well, Sun could actually be ready to pilot this Galio in the mid lane. Jelly could also be picking up towards the bottom side of the map. I do like the fact that the flexibility of the Galio is being considered and locked in for the Afreeca Freecs.
And we'll see what they end up accompanying this with. It's important to note that Ezreal is also still afloat here.
Yeah, Lucian is also available, and Lucian lanes pretty well with the Galio, and denying it from Deft in this Lucian Braum lane, I think should be priority.
This is a really scary situation because you don't know which one Deft is
All right,
go
there's
for.
the Elise.
Very aggressive.
Oh my god! Okay, Deft insta-locks the Vayne.
All right.
Sure, all right. You know, his win rate in solo queue is abysmal on this pick at the moment. However, he's confident to rock it here on the LoL Park stage.
I believe that you just pinch ADCs now at this point.
Yeah.
There's really, I don't think, a reason to pinch mid laners.
But Vayne actually has a decent laning phase into the Ezreal and the Lucian that we were talking about, so you don't necessarily need to do that. Yeah, Lucian's a little bit more difficult. The theory that you can tumble out of Piercing Light is why people have spoken about Lucian being an okay matchup for the Vayne. However, he just does too much damage in the early game, so see whether they ban it here, as Tristana was the first option.
Now, we'll see what the final ban is. Ezreal, which is a little bit surprising, but I guess maybe Kingzone just wants to go a lot harder with their engage and doesn't want the flexibility of Ezreal to be able to come online. Perhaps they don't want to have to deal with later in the game the Elise Spiders combined with the Ezreal Mystic Shots and the Jace.
I still think Gragas would be a good choice here, but the J4 is left available and Kingzone can lock that in. I'm going to pick that one up there for Cuz. We'll see how much he can get done early because Dread is going to be lurking in his jungle as well. Lucian that we were talking about is being considered here for aiming. Feels like the last top-tier pickup for the AD carry role that is left available with...
oh, Cog. Oh, okay. Caitlyn. This isn't 9.6. She doesn't have her buff yet, but Kate is still Kate. Can definitely outrange the Vayne.
Absolutely, but they're not going to go for it. They're going to go for the more aggressive choice in the Lucian, getting scrappy towards that bottom side. We're theoretically holding on to Rascal's pick for Kingzone as the Thresh is being looked at, and that will be Galio confirmed for the mid lane. Wife Steel bottom lane locked in and ready to go.
How insane would it be if Vayne goes mid here? Pawn just picks up the Vayne.
Oh my god.
Against the Galio. They could. There's a lot of options available when you do this. And so Kingzone, they have so many...
The Ashe is locked in.
Man.
You, sir, are a god.
The prophet is here.
You figured it out.
Okay.
Could this actually be... Rascal could also be playing it on the top side of the map. I mean, we still don't know where everything's going.
This is going to be Aftershock Rise, and it is going to be mid-Vayne. And this is a last-second recalibration inside of the draft against the mid-Galio. And this is...
this has gotten very
exciting. Yep. So the Ashe Braum will be able to neutralize the Lucian Thresh, so that aggression out the window. Your Galio is under permanent pressure against the Vayne. Now, Flash Taunt, Galio, and Cocoon, it is scary, but Vayne will have Cleanse.
She does.
So they're going to have one go at it, then they'll need to get a second go. The Jace up in top lane, he does have a slight edge against the Rise, but Aftershock Rise can go toe-to-toe with him. I would say it's a 55-45 matchup in Jace's favor. And so Afreeca not quite finding themselves with the advantages they probably would have hoped to have had with these kind of picks.
Yeah, or that they would have expected, right?
Yeah.
With exactly how the draft went up until that very last pick-off. And you saw Pawn. Pawn was the one that insta-locked the Vayne.
Yeah.
He knew that he was the one that wanted to play it from the get-go.
Well,
oh, that is ridiculous. Haven't seen what he's been doing in solo queue. He keeps things pretty secret on his main account. He has not been playing Vayne at all. This is something that he's kept under wraps if it is going to be a practiced pick. The last time I saw the Vayne in the mid lane, I think, was Caps.
Yeah, that's actually what comes to mind. Other mid lane Vaynes just tend to not include them in mind.
We just don't like to think about that. Otherwise, we lose all of the hype for the matchup. Caps Vayne was definitely a good one. All right. This is very, very interesting now as Afreeca Freecs on the edge up against Kingzone. This match means so much for both of these teams. The final matchup of Week 9. Let's get into it. And here we are already. All of our teams are grouped up. Got a bit of a Thunderdome here on the top side. That is a very high-value Ghost Poro. Spotting out the Afreeca Freecs as the back is going to come in from the Lucian. And Kingzone moving as 5. Flag on cooldown now for Cuz as all 5 of the Kingzone members are moving towards the Afreeca Freecs. Remember, Kingzone, they do have the Braum. And they have the Ashe with the Frost Shot available, meaning that if they did find them level 1, it was going to be very difficult for the Afreeca Freecs to get out without having to use their flashes. So I like the fact that they grouped early.
Also making me think, now it's interesting, Vayne elects for the Doran's Blade instead of the Call early on, not trying to be super greedy inside of the mid lane here against the Galio. It is a hard counter matchup. But interestingly, Sun has elected for the Doran's Ring on the Galio, which is making me think that him and Dread do want to try to go aggressive early on at some point.
Or there's a lane swap.
But instead, they're going to one-up them.
This is really cute out of the Afreeca Freecs. We've seen this so many times. Keen has wandered into the mid lane on many an occasion. Yep. We saw his mid-jacks actually coming out against a different team.
And this could be really terrible. I'm not quite sure what Vayne's... what is it? Not secondary. What's the word for third?
What do you mean?
The third runes, like the attack, speed, armor, MR.
Oh, right.
If Vayne has MR right now, this is really bad against the Jace.
Absolutely.
So Vayne would probably like to have double armor coming in. But if she doesn't have it, then probably look to see a Rise in Vayne swap. But the issue is that they're always probably going to be behind on tempo if they're looking to do that. So interesting choice here by Afreeca, and it's definitely a way to neutralize this Vayne pick.
Yep, and the team that swaps first is generally the one that is going to have that tempo advantage, like you're talking about. So this is very good for the Afreeca Freecs. Level 3 just hit from Keen. You can see at the moment Pawn is okay, but the fact that Jace has such a push advantage and so much bully potential here in this lane is just terrifying. These empowered Shock Blasts are going to add up against Pawn's Vayne here in the mid lane. I do like the gank synergy of Jarvan once he hits level 6 and the Vayne, though. You get condemn stuns almost guaranteed with the Cataclysm.
Auto and Pawn right now. Oh, missed the Shock
really
Blast.
Nice
so
dodge.
His auto attacks a little bit neutralized as Vayne's minions were reciprocating some damage due to the auto attacks onto Pawn.
Yep, you saw Dread actually enter the jungle of Cuz. But nothing doing there as Pawn, with his tumble, should be able to clean up the majority of these minions, but actually misses a couple based on some pretty lackluster RNG. Jelly manages to lock down that cannon creep. Very nicely done. Afreeca Freecs bottom lane, but you can see Deft and Tucson are very comfortable. This is what Kingzone managed to get out of that Vayne switch over to the mid lane. It was getting the Ashe lane into the Lucian that is very comfortable and able to keep the Afreeca Freecs underneath the turret, despite the fact that Afreeca Freecs thought that they were going to have a pretty easy time here towards the bottom side.
Yeah. And so now, Afreeca, they have a little bit of a CS advantage in mid lane. Oh, this is so aggravating, though, as a jungler, is the Ashe hawk shots. They just come out, and it's like playing with map hacks in competitive.
Precisely, and if you're good at it, I think that Prey was the best at it. Rip Prey, hopefully you come back for summer. But he was the best at it. Sangyun has been fantastic as well on his Ashe. That's why it gets a lot of bans against Hanwha Life. And Death would certainly be up there. As far as Ashe play.
Dread going for a very big coin flip right here.
Yeah,
might work out.
Going to land. Yeah, the cocoon comes through, and that's first blood. All too easy. Over to aiming.
And the reason that I was saying that it was a little bit of a coin flip right there is the hawk shot just came out, spotted. No camps available left-hand side, and then Cuz was inside of Dread's jungle. It's not hard to deduce, well, where can the Elise actually be?
Well, that's going to be a bit of a whoopsie. Tucson did have the unsealed spellbook, but he's not going to change the teleport or anything like that to get back to lane. I think a little bit too early, unfortunately. Yep. For the Braum, we're going to check this out one more time. Cuz, like you say, was lurking, spotted Dread as he was moving in.
What?
So this is just
How do you die to this?
It's a big whoopsie. Well, Tucson did have stand behind me, but max range hook.
I have nothing to say.
That's a rare mistake.
I really don't know what to. That's. I can understand if you're posturing, trying to maybe stand at the exact max range of the hook, but he was closer than that.
Yeah.
Which is what's so bizarre. And also, I mean, Dread even getting spotted by the Scryer and still committing to it. Alice, you don't need to take over for a moment.
Yeah, I'm
going to need a minute.
There were a few whoopsies that happened as Rascal has switched back to the mid lane. Sun's going to move on over. He's looking to try and claim this one. 10CS is that margin between the mid laners. Top side of the map as well. Sun's having a great time. Your Freecs, their cheeky little lane shenanigans are working, and it's definitely triggering our observers right now.
The observers are actually so on point with this, though, swapping it around for us.
They've had experience in our metas gone by, where we were witnessing, you know, Faker's Darius switching between multiple different lanes as aiming goes aggressive onto Def. Tucson comes on down. The heal's going to be used. The flash comes out. Cocoon lands, but Unbreakable is up for the Braum. Cuz waiting for cooldowns. The volley comes through. Dread can't get onto Deft in the back line and can't do enough damage. There to Tucson, but it is still advantage over to the Afreeca Freecs.
This is a really surprising turn of events here. This early on, the Galio had the ultimate available as well.
Oh, no.
So, oh, man.
Okay, don't worry
about it.
They
know that Cuz is there, too, so what?
Well, Tucson gets his health back, teleports back in. Cuz is down. That's the flash into the taunt. The Winds of War are enough as Sun takes down that kill, but can they complete the dive? Tucson's going to go down also. Jelly in trouble. The turret's going to kill him. No! He gets a level up. It's a double kill now for the Lucian, and he doesn't even die to the turret. Turret plate's going down. The Afreeca Freecs have full control of Game 1 against Kingzone.
And they're going to get so many turret plates down here now. 7.5 minutes. Keen crashes the wave up in top, moves into mid lane. Pawn can't even crash the wave and look to get any plates here. Afreeca with almost a 3,000 gold lead at 8 minutes.
This is insane.
I mean, this is nightmare fuel. Atlas is what's going on here. Def just gets completely annihilated. And the way that they're juggling the turret aggro, hook misses there. They end up having to commit a heal.
Yeah, that was the heal
aiming.
that kept Jelly alive. I thought it might have been a level up, but no. Got a little bit overexcited. I like leveling in order to survive dives.
Turns out Keen's pretty good at CS.
Yes.
He's all right.
He's gigantic.
We're going to give the blue to him. Normally meant for Galio, but...
No. Galio is a leash tool to help Keen. That's exactly what the majority of Afreeca Freecs players are, to be honest. It's try to get Keen to a point where he can carry us. Hasn't got any of the kills just yet. It is 3-0-0 for the Lucian, though. Already a 650 gold bounty, and Blade of the Ruined King done.
Yeah, this is a really, really rough spot for Kingzone to be in. Especially because some of their lanes were intended to get ahead, and it's not like they don't have scaling components available on their team. They do, but to be this far behind at 9 minutes in the game is not what you're expecting. Lucian has a Blade of the Ruined King, Atlas.
I know, it's dumb.
This early in the game. He also has a level advantage. Turns out the culling...
Yeah, Unbreakable pretty good at dealing with it, but Tucson, you can see, is still having a rough time. More turret plates go down. In goes Dread. Hook is not going to land. As Deft has the Frost Shot available, he is going to be able to clear out this minion wave. Cuz was coming down, but he's playing damage control Jarvan. That is not what you want to be doing. Dread spotted one more time. Deft is going to be able to clear this control ward. Sun is underneath his turret, so at least Kingzone have some control topside, but I don't know how you salvage this. If Kingzone can actually come back in this game, it's going to be one hell of a heroic effort.
Yep. Rascal is... I really don't know what he's doing there.
Tanking the turret. The Y, more difficult. Okay, Ocean Drake going to go down. It's standing underneath the turret. You've never done that before? Arrow lands on the bottom side. Cuz flashes in, gets the knock-up, aiming, goes down very low, and the bounty gold goes over to the Ash. Teleport to come in. Def still doing a lot of damage as they just turn it onto Cuz. That was a big old whoopsie for the Jarvan, but he had no way of getting out. Already used the flash earlier on. It's a 1-for-1, but it's a lot of bounty gold over to the Ash.
Yeah, and Deft is probably the one champion you do want to have getting all of that.
Dead.
They saw Dread. They knew he was there.
Is this actually Evelyn? I think maybe Elise is Evelyn this game.
I'm so sorry to the viewers. I really don't know what is happening. This is like the stuff that people rage quit games in solo queue over. You know, people walking over wards and stuff and still dying.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what to say right now, Atlas. A turret goes down. That's 5 plates in bottom lane. And meanwhile, we look at mid lane and top lane, and what has Pawn and Rascal been able to achieve? They haven't even got, I mean, they got 1 plate.
Approximately zip, I think.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out onto aiming. Yes, all of that shutdown gold going over to Def. Double teleport coming in, but Pawn did manage to cancel Keen's teleport with the Condemn.
Yep.
And then shortly after this, I wonder if they show it, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, or Hawkshot, saw Dread. And then still.
Do you know how we deal with it?
Yeah, tell me about it.
We move on.
Okay.
We just ignore it.
Move on?
We just try and move on.
Okay.
That's how we tackle this particular issue. You can see Afreeca, even after Def managed to get that shutdown gold, they are still in the lead. Sun is hanging out towards this mid lane. Shelly's going down, but Kingzone have 4 members here on this top side. They have got the rotation in a decent position. Remember, Galio can get in.
Oh,
Aiming's dead. That was a beautiful Realm Warp, as now Shelly, she could go down next. No opportunities to get anyone in there. Shelly gets reset by the Afreeca Freecs, but I have a feeling that Kingzone are going to be able to get this one done because Aiming doesn't have teleport and isn't out of the death chamber for the next little while. Kuz actually manages to pick up that empowered shock blast. Afreeca are still keen on trying to make this one happen. There's the Glacial Fissure. It's a great taunt from Sun, though. The health bars are melting on the side of Kingzone DragonX because in the backline does take down the Galio. Dread's now in trouble as well. Shelly's getting in amongst it as Dread cleans up the kill in the backline instead of getting out.
That was
great
really close.
flash, yeah, exactly right from Kingzone. But Shelly should go to Afreeca after all is said and done.
And there's still a minute remaining on the turret plates. If they can actually end up getting this on Keen and casting it in mid, Aiming is going to be able to crash that minion wave. They might be able to get more plates. Teleport coming in. We'll see if they look to utilize it right away.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to. Keen's going to pick that one up. He heads back with the empowered recall that we talk about. Okay,
take a look at what's happening here.
This one's really nice.
Yeah, Aiming doesn't have flash available during this, so he's pushing the lane, clearly underestimating the Realm Warp of Rise. He ends up getting picked off, and then right here, Keen is just so massive and monstrous. In Kingzone, they all clump up and get hit by all of this CC. They committed so many valuable skills as well to Jelly on the Thresh. And then right here, there's a little bit of a mismatch. Clearly, Jelly wanted to save Dread, but he said, you know what, no, I'll get the back line. You guys get the Herald.
Yeah.
That was Jelly's sacrifice.
Fawn also messed up his Silver Bolts quite a few times. He got to the second stack onto people and then changed targets. So we'll see whether his next team fight's going to work out better than that one. He's able to get himself a decent CS lead against the Galio, but you can see 150 farm already picked up for Keen, and you've got Aiming with a huge CS lead over Deft here as well. It's one of the first times that we've actually seen Deft behind in a laning phase. It's what happens when your support dies very early on, though, and you're against the Lucian. Kingzone now have to try and defend against Shelly. No more turret plates available, but there's going to be no more outer turret available as well very, very soon. The Shelly doesn't get a whole lot of value for a charge. And in fact, you don't get a whole lot of value for Shelly at all. As that tower is just going to go down anyway, and she does get the next charge. Okay. Minimum damage buff to Shelly all those patches ago was very valuable right there.
And through this now, Afreeca, almost a 4,000 gold lead. Dread looking to pick up the Cloud Drake.
Yep, lots of amazing vision here available for Afreeca as well. You can see that control ward helping Keen out here on the top side. It's lining the river. Moving down towards Kingzone's base. I don't think Cuz can go for any sorts of dives, and you can see with the double Serrated Dirk pickups already, Ginsu's Rage Blade, Youmuu's Ghost Blade already completed for Keen. Freecs in all sorts of control right now. 3.5k, the gold lead. It's not all over yet. Kingzone do have ways to get themselves picks in this mid-game because they do have an arrow, they've got a Realm Warp to follow up. They do have tools, but this isn't necessarily a composition that's screaming to you late-game front-to-back team fighting or anything like that. It's still a weird and wonderful comp. Out of Kingzone. And Afreeca, they've got lots of tools to get fights going exactly the way they want. They have the Galio, they have the Thresh to start fights as well as Dread's Elise with the non-committal CC, and they have this man on the top side of the map. That's the scary one here in my mind.
Well, they pick themselves up the Cloud Drake. A second one will be spawning in this game, and they are doing a pretty okay job at recovering in the CS department across the board.
Yeah, you can see the Ashe is actually coming back. 30 CS is the lead that Keen has, but he's at 170 at 16.5 minutes. He's having a great time.
He almost has the Duskblade of Drakthar now completed. Magical Boots also on the side for Jace.
Yep.
And one of the interesting things to me, though, is that you look at the boot choices across the board for Kingzone, and only Deft has Ninja Tabbies.
Yeah.
So all the other members really going to take a lot of damage from Jace and the Lucian. And if Lucian ends up shredding some of the armor with that Black Cleaver for Keen, he'll end up dealing true damage.
Aiming. Okay, they're going to miss the Winter's Bite. Now aiming's going to go aggressive. Thankfully, the Unbreakable is a thing, so Tusin's not going to die. Dread clearing out vision. As Pawn has to get underneath his outer turret on the top side of the map. Rascal's having a good time here on the bottom side of the map, and he does have 3 assists on the rise, so he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Archangel Staff already completed. He is building magic resist, though, so if we switch the lanes around and then the rise is once again against the Jace, this isn't the Righteous Glory giving you that bit of extra armor. And survivability is going to be something else. Looks like Banshee's Veil might be coming in here. Something of that ilk for Rascal.
Aiming. Just getting pulled back into the middle lane as another turret is raised. 4,000 gold lead exactly here for Afreeca. Yep. In game number 1. But the question does still remain is, can they close it? As another Cloud Drake is really nice, but when the enemy is already intent on sitting at their tier 2 turrets and farming up for the rest of the game, it's not going to provide that much value. It does feel very nice.
Yeah.
And without the Mountain to accelerate a 20-minute Baron of some sorts, yes, you do have a good Baron taking comp, but can be a little bit risky, and you're going to wonder, what does Afreeca do if this game goes to 30, 33 minutes, and it's still only a 4,000, 5,000 gold lead? That's going to begin to favor Kingzone.
Yeah, things are going to get better and better for Kingzone, I guess, as this game goes on, but the problem is that Afreeca have so many tools to avoid that from happening, right? You can see no one can enter lane against Keen. He's going to be able to keep the pressure on, so the way we're talking about this does mean that Afreeca are in a very comfortable position, but like you say, they do still need to do things. There's just a lot of easy things that they can do to capitalize on this advantage that they already have. So they've done what they need to do. Can they continue doing it throughout the next 10 minutes or so? That's what we're yet to find out. See Pawns building towards Ginsu's Rage Blade. Susan, that was a pretty good twitch on the Unbreakable. Keeps him alive from the Empowered Shock Blast. Aiming's very comfortable. He's hit his 2 items. We're close to getting the Runan's Hurricane from Deft, but not quite there yet.
Dragon coming up now in 43 seconds as they look to maybe make a play here against Rascal. Or just perhaps rotate. Oh, Tushin.
Yeah, it does have the cleanse.
Wow, look
from
at how
that spell
quick they
block.
are, though.
Yeah.
They want to pull the trigger on any play.
Heroic Entrance now on cooldown could actually be the respite the Kingzone need, though, at this stage of the game. Empowered Shock Blast lands onto Deft, exactly the opportune target. That's the ultimate use from Tucson to get the knock up onto the Galio, but it looks like the pressure is still going to be there on this inner turret. Hook goes wide, but they've got so many more of them that they can throw out. Born on the bottom side of the map is going to be able to get some decent damage here on this turret. As you can see, it's the Jace moving on over, and
can Keen actually get onto her?
Well, Pawn thinking about going for the 1v1, actually turns it around. That's the Silver Bolt. The Flash Condemn! Can he actually get after him? Oh no, not going to happen. As Cuz is looking for it, the Flash, but doesn't get the Cataclysm. The Arrow's going to snipe it. As Cuz will sacrifice his life, but the AoE is pretty good out of Kingzone right now. Jelly's going to fall down. It's a kill for the Vayne. Make that 2 and a double for Deft. Sash now aiming, looks on and wonders what the hell just happened.
And that's going to be the Baron. You have Vayne, you have Ashe.
They've got so much Baron damage.
Yeah, they have so much Baron damage. They're immune to the... you have Rise. You're immune. You don't take damage from the Baron. You have Rise. But maybe what they're thinking is that the double teleport comes in, but Galio doesn't have his ultimate available. But it seems like Kingzone did have on the agenda to start the Baron, and we can see that J4 would almost be able to get there. Yeah. Galio doesn't have his ult. Jace would get there. He would probably send out a Shock Blast. It could maybe be close. We're taking another look at the replay. The Condemn comes in.
Oh, and he also uses it.
Yeah.
Oh, my good. That was one of the best flashes I've seen for so many different reasons.
Arrow just lands right on to Keen. And Cuz, I mean, this was his sacrifice, but it didn't really matter. It set so much up here as aiming... Even being forced to flash the wall there, being trapped.
That was every flash used from the Afreeca Freecs, and they got straight wiped.
Someone was saying, let's go Baron, let's go Baron.
Look at Neon, he's always so happy.
Smiling.
He's always so happy.
He's the mascot of the
team. He definitely is. He comes in when Pawn gets tilted.
Yeah.
But that hasn't been for quite a few weeks.
All the moods in the team. And now, Atlas, even though 4 kills went down, it's still almost a... Well, all right,
there we go. Tucson's in trouble. Deft here. That's a great knock-up from Cuz as Jelly going down very low. The hero's entrance not going to be able to get Tucson. Empowered Shock Blast doesn't... Another snipe with the damn arrow. That's an engage tool, Deft, not an execute. Oh, my God. Well, Freecs are moving back to the Baron pit, but Deft's got a Hawk shot. That's going to help out there. Zombie ward's getting cleared. Control ward doesn't actually get on top of that cheeky little ward behind that pit. Oh, Mod Review, they're going to get tilted by that one.
Yeah, they are beginning to give off some Griffin vibes here as they are coming back through team fighting.
Yeah, dude, it's 5-1 and 4 for Deft. Yeah. Remember, he was getting smashed in the laning phase. Somehow, Pawn's 3-0-3 on the Vayne mid.
He's given some AP Ashe enthusiasts.
Oh, the Cocoon is going to not land. And that means Rascal's able to get the Rune Prison off and get the Aftershock. He's very comfortable now.
Only about a 2,000 gold lead here now for Afreeca as we approach the 25-minute mark. And at this point, Kingzone are ahead.
Yeah.
And even though Afreeca might have a gold advantage at the top, you have to factor in the team comps, the items across the board are only going to get better from here for Kingzone. It's going to be very difficult for Afreeca in a lot of these team fights. It's going to come down to Keen being able to offer enough poke with his Shock Blasts.
And if he just straight up loses a 1v1 to Pawn again, I think this game is over, right? That ultimate out of Tucson was absolutely fantastic. Into the stopwatch there as well, redeeming himself from his early misplays as what? Deft?
Boom.
It's so funny. Pawn saying, let's not do this. Nope, 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 nope. I'm noping out of this one. Well, now Deft has a QSS and an extra BF sword. He's building towards his Infinity Edge. I believe that aiming is doing the same thing, but it's not going to have as much value given the fact that there's no Zeal item just yet for aiming on this Lucian. It's normally 4 items where you really start getting scared, but he had to build himself a QSS. Before any of that came out, still waiting on flashes here on the Afreeca Freecs side, but it's only about a minute until they are all going to be back available. Same can be said for Kingzone.
Righteous Glory here on the rise, and I really like that as the second item of choice here because the movement speed, being able to get onto the Lucian and lock him down. Jace is really threatening, and he's definitely a source of damage in extended fights, but not as much as the Lucian. If the Lucian goes down early on, a Vayne or an Ashe remaining for your team, and Ryze and Lucian being deleted for their respective teams, is going to favor Kingzone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if Pawn's going to continue to play as fantastically as he did in that earlier skirmish that really turned this game around. I swear, if Kingzone are able to actually win this game, it is going to be ridiculous. Just because the early game from the Afreeca Freecs could not have gone any better than it did.
Right. And that's the scary thing, right? For them in game number 2,
yeah.
Is you come out of this in game
you
1.
lose this game as Afreeca, you are tilted off the planet.
You boom right into relegation.
Yeah, you do.
Potentially.
It might be exactly the thing that KT fans wanted. As Pawn gets very aggressive onto Sun, takes half of his health bar. Comes back here, understands that he can play very aggressively. Outer turret going to be the next thing on the menu. It is 4 turrets to 0, so that's why the Afreeca Freecs still have this decent gold advantage. Standing gold, certainly a thing here, as Cuz spotted out by the sweeper of Dread.
Everyone's just sort of protecting Pawn here. You could almost say that he is the Pawn in this play.
He is. Arrow's going to come through. That's a great repel switched out there from Dread. Takes the Lant ride to get out. It's a big cooldown now. Unavailable for Kingzone. No more executes with the ultimate from the Ashe. Okay, you have to be a little bit careful there, Def. It does pull himself back. Hawk shot spots the fact that there's no one over that wall, and they do manage to clear out that vision. Rascal here. He's still down 30 CS, but I have a feeling that the Rise is going to feel more and more comfortable into Keen, who's only got a little bit of Mercury Tread magic resist.
So now Afreeca, they're posturing. Oh man, I think they want to flip a coin. This is really hard.
Where's the Hawk shot? Where is the Hawk shot?
Well, they already know that this is going on. The blue trinkets coming in. Afreeca, they might just want to flip.
This is a 50-50. Teleport's going to come in from Keen, but he's going to be very late to this fight as Rascal comes on over. Kingzone, can they actually get this one? Okay, Rune Prison comes in, and Afreeca do pull away from the Baron. It's a lot of damage already gone down. Deft almost has the arrow back up yet again. Minion wave in the mid lane in control here for the Afreeca Freecs. Shock Blast goes wide. Permanent vision. Irremovable vision, sorry. Going to be taken there as Scoodle Rivers goes down.
Like that.
Got to throw it out there, man.
You're like a teacher. You know, you're like a teacher in high school. You never quite forget the names of the students.
Yep, that's how I do. That's what puts me,
makes
me the difference. Yeah, Culling's going to come in. That's a great hook that lands onto Pawn, but he flashes to get himself out of the way. Aiming's going to take down the Braum as the first one, but Def is free hitting on the backline. They take down the Thresh, but Aiming's going nuts against Rascal here. He flashes out. Keen dives on in, picks up the 600 gold shutdown as Cuz has to run away. Rascal gets out on a realm walk just somehow, and now they're fish in a barrel. Aiming gets over. That's the ace, and Kingzone have been routed.
And that's definitely going to be the Baron going over to Afreeca now. There's no hope for Kingzone to be able to stop this now. And you have to wonder, what were Kingzone just doing?
Walking outside of vision, my friend.
Yeah, the vision didn't matter. You have Hawkshot on Ashe. There is no universe where Afreeca can just arbitrarily start the Baron and you can't have any knowledge of it. Last cone even being taken.
Yeah, that was to make sure that Tucson couldn't get in with his smite that he picked up.
I mean, just take a look at this, and why are they in the river? There's lanes that they could be fixing. They have wards inside of the Baron pit, and they're not going to start the Baron. And so Afreeca really quick to punish the mispositioning. And I mean, this is it. It's an all-out war right at the very end. Keen almost going down, potentially. And then they kept chasing. I do like that Cuz and Rascal at least did split up. They knew that the Shock Blast could be coming. But there was no way out.
Nope. And the cleanup was just too good for the Afreeca Freecs. So back again, well and truly, in the driver's seat. And that's what happens if Keen can actually work in a team fight.
Now Afreeca with a 7,000 gold lead, almost.
Yep, this is gigantic now, and Infinity Edge is now completed for aiming, and he does have a Zeal on top of it, so about 50% crit online for the Lucian, and he needs to be removed immediately if Kingzone is going to stand any sort of chance in these team fights. And right now it's just feeling like there's becoming too many threats on the side of the Afreeca Freecs. Tucson very quick on the cleanse as it transitions back into the heal, but it looks like the Baroned up minions are going to help take down this inner turret very comfortably, and Kingzone aren't going to waste their lives on that one. 8,000 gold is the lead, and the lead is only going to extend. 2,000 Baron power play thus far, and we've still got 2 minutes to go.
And the one thing that is going on right here,
diving forward, the culling, he's fishing for it, but he's unable to get the kill. The Braum is now out of this fight. Arrow available from Deft. He was waiting to use it, but he has to remember that there's a QSS on aiming. He can play very aggressively.
Jace, I mean, he does some damage to turrets.
Yeah, a little.
Just a wee bit. Right over there.
Just a dash.
Cannon adding quite a bit of damage as well. Rascal trying to clean that up, but that's going to be the bottom turret going down. If Kingzone want to stay alive...
3 siege minions!
Yeah, that's quite balanced.
Oh my goodness. Well, Lantern is going to be there for aiming. That's why he's playing so incredibly aggressively. That balance that you were talking about is finally going to get taken out. All 3 of those siege minions are dead, but so is the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. And Kingzone, I just don't know whether they've got any more tools remaining here in this game.
And so
a
here's
heroic
the thing.
mid-game, but it just hasn't been enough.
Yeah. The amount of poke coming out of Keen is just so massive. It's now Afreeca looking to rotate over to the left-hand side. They want to get this inhibitor.
Yep, 2 inhibitors is the aim.
A lot of poke.
And what does Kingzone actually do? How do they start this fight? I think it's a suicide coming in from Cuz to try and keep himself in there as Pawn goes extraordinarily low. Another 2 siege minions are being thrown in, and aiming with the culling just gets them all out of the way of this inhibitor. It's all too easy for the Afreeca Freecs as now they transition towards the inner turret on the top side of the map, and everything is going down like dominoes. Even Dread's able just to leave, go take himself an Ocean Drake if he'd like to. Inner turret goes 3.2 thousand gold bounty, Baron power play as the Baron ticks down, and they even get the empowered recalls for the reset.
Phantom Dancer now also completed on the side of Lucian. 2,000 gold sitting on that Elise. We'll have to see what Dread ends up picking up as his item of choice, as the gold disparity between everyone is noticeable. Now, if you are a Kingzone fan and you're wondering, well, what can they possibly do to stay in this? They have to weather the storm until the Elder ends up spawning somehow.
Yep.
Or they can outmuscle a team fight in about 2-3 minutes and try to capture the Baron, in which case it would convert into an Elder. But it's all going to come down to, can Kingzone heroically outfight Afreeca inside of the left-hand side river or the red side jungle, and it will be quite a feat.
Well, you can see Kingzone have never actually been at a gold advantage apart from 4 minutes into the game. It's been comfortable for the Afreeca Freecs. Slight blip there, as you could see. Kingzone won a fight and we dared to dream. But it was lights out after that. Kingzone now holding on to their last remaining inhibitor turret, minion wave. Easier to deal with now that the Baron has worn off. 1 minute till that Baron comes back up again. And you can see Kingzone there just waiting to try and find a pick. I feel like Jelly's probably the only target that they can hope to lock down, because there's QSSs, there's so many different options. And it's about the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to try and get them in there. Another culling comes out from aiming just in the face of 3 people. He's so calm and safe, standing incredibly far up.
Rascal going to come down here now and try to shove out, probably not just this wave, but the next one as well, as you do want to provide yourself with ample enough time to go over to the Baron and actually maybe contest it.
Yep.
So
he's got teleport available and the Realm Morph as well, so not feeling too bad. Keen throws in another Empowered Shock Blast. Every single one of these matters. As aiming, that's his Rev upgrade. It's definitely his. Oh man, that's so much damage. Deft able to get some damage down in the backline as Pawn throws in the final hour, but he's using it to kill a ward. I don't think that they can do anything. Afreeca Freecs just move back. They know that they've done enough damage. Rascal had used the teleport already. Cuz takes too much damage. That's a really good Zhonya's from Rascal, but can he keep himself alive? Cocoon's not going to land. As the Shock Blast comes in, but Tucson's Unbreakable blocks the damage. Era Super Minions on this Nexus. The Baron will be going to the Afreeca Freecs. Kingzone just don't really have too many options to get them over. Apart from a heroic Realm Warp here from Rascal, but you see he just wants to pick up a Krug Camp. Yeah. He's not going to be able to help this at all.
He is just trying to farm, and we look at the level disparity between some of the champions. 1 level difference in support, 2 level difference, oh no, 1 level difference now in ADC, 1 level difference inside of the jungle as well, but Cuz did just end up leveling up in base.
Yeah, he did.
And I feel like a lot of people don't value enough level disparities sometimes, as the base stats all do increase.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an invisible stat.
Right.
I mean, you can see that the number went higher, but what does that necessarily mean?
Right. Base HP.
Yep.
Other base stats increasing as well. Obviously, skill points going up.
Yeah.
So, minute and a half now until the Elder, but it might not even make it there, as so much damage. Okay, well.
Yep. Culling flies through, aiming just continuing to be a menace, and Def can't take another one of those. He has to go back to the fountain. Kingzone have to give up another inhibitor. That's all of them dead. The circling of the drain is continuing for Kingzone DragonX, as it was a really cute decision to go for the Vayne in the mid lane, but there wasn't even a Galio there to contend with.
Oh, and now...
An arrow finally comes in, but it's just going to eat the Mercurial Scimitar out of aiming. Cuz dives onto Soul. The ultimate misses completely from Tucson, though, as Dread. He's the one that goes down very low. Pawn. Final hour is popped, but all of the damage is avoided as he gets a big old shield, but that is about it. That was just the Phantom Dancer coming in with the lifeline. Oh my god, so close to picking that one up as Rascal's trying to get damage in the back line. The hero's entrance comes through. They run out of minions, and Kingzone are left alive for a little bit longer as the Baroned up minions are going to retake these inhibitors. The Afreeca Freecs are looking to put the final nails in to the Kingzone coffin.
Keen coming in off of his teleport. Tushin, 10 seconds away.
Pawn has his GA completed. Def gets his health back as well as Sun taking a fair bit of damage here. Winds of War need to be respected. The hook goes
Tushin's
wide.
Up.
Okay, aiming's going to get taken down. The Nexus, though, is going to evaporate. The Afreeca Freecs upset Kingzone in game number 1.
And this is a really important win for them, because every single win will count towards the points for them as well. So obviously, they're going to have momentum going into game number 2. But not only that, guess what else they have going into game number 2? They have Red Side Atlas.
That they do,
You know what
and
Red
they've
Side
got
does
Keen.
when you have a Keen?
It means that he can counterpick whatever comes out of Rascal, and Rascal doesn't have a lot of, I guess, champions that are very comfortable blind. So
this is the best scenario they could have possibly hoped for, is to win game 1 on blue side, get to game 2 on red, and also do it in such a way that Kingzone might be tilted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know whether you're necessarily tilted as Kingzone, because I think a lot of it happened in the draft, and it was a bit of a whoopsie after the lane swap was so successful for the Afreeca Freecs. Oh! As there's Gorilla.
Where's
Hello,
Prey?
my friend. On a bit of a holiday. Come back after the LEC season is done. Unfortunately, not going to be in the playoffs, but that means we get to hang out with Gorilla for a little bit longer.
Keen is on our screen. He did all right on the Jace.
Yeah, I did. Not impressed? Are you not impressed?
Not impressed.
Yeah, you're not often impressed. Yeah, he had a good game. I don't think it was all about Keen, though. I think Aiming had a brilliant performance, frontlining on the Lucian most of the time. Always had Jelly there on the Thresh to help him out. This needs to be a better performance from Kingzone DragonX in game number 2 if they're going to turn this one around. And I know a lot of us are probably thinking that we're heading towards a 3-game series now because Kingzone are on paper the better team. But we have to go back to what this actually means, and that is an extra point that goes begging for Kingzone in their tie between themselves and Sandbox Gaming.
Oh, man. Deft.
Tried to be the hero.
Yeah, he really did. Aiming with, you know, fantastic damage output there on the Lucian. Keen chasing him, only off by 500.
Yeah, and even Dread doing a lot of work there on the Elise at the same time. But I just felt like Afreeca Freecs put themselves in such a great position with all of their lanes in the early game. Things went right for the Elise this time around. The Elise that we saw in our previous series in the hands of Bono just wasn't the same, right? Because he had to repeat gank at top lane, and he was unsuccessful each time. Whereas this Elise throws herself to the bottom side of the map and kills someone at about 3 minutes. From then, the dominoes just fall.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see what Kingzone are going to try to do to bounce back in game number 2 as they're going up against Keen on red side.
Yeah, Keen on red side.